Ryan Turner wiped sweat from his forehead as he struggled to position himself correctly on the bench press. The gym was crowded this Tuesday morning, but he'd promised himself he wouldn't skip workout day again, not after missing 3 weeks in a row due to overtime shifts and Emma's dance recitals. At 34, he needed every bit of strength to keep up with his energetic 8-year-old daughter. "You might want to adjust your grip there," came a smooth, confident voice from behind him. "Your wrists are bent at an angle that's asking for trouble." Ryan turned to find himself looking up at a woman with intelligent eyes and athletic build, dressed in high-end workout gear that made his faded basketball shorts and 5-year-old t-shirt feel even more pathetic. "Thanks for the tip," he said, repositioning his hands. "Though I was kinda hoping to injure myself just enough to get out of my daughter's school fundraiser this weekend." He flashed a grin that didn't quite mask the exhaustion behind his eyes. The woman's laugh was genuine, surprising them both with its warmth. Creative parenting strategy. "Does that actually work?" "Never has before, but hope springs eternal," Ryan replied, sitting up on the bench. "I'm Ryan, by the way, resident gym disaster and professional dad joke dispenser." "Zara," she replied, offering a firm handshake that revealed a simple yet elegant watch on her wrist, the kind that probably cost more than his monthly rent. "Professional. Advice giver, I suppose." Ryan had no idea that Zara Novak was the CEO of Horizon Innovations, one of the fastest-growing tech companies in the city. He didn't know she'd risen from entry-level programmer to chief executive in 12 years, or that she'd recently been featured in Business Weekly as one of the 40 under 40 to watch. All he knew was that her smile made his morning a little brighter, and that she seemed genuinely amused by his terrible jokes, which, frankly, was rare enough to make his day. "Well, Zara, the advice giver, any other pearls of wisdom before I embarrass myself further with these weights?" She hesitated, then set down her water bottle. "Actually, do you mind if I spot you? Your form needs a bit of work." Ryan's face flushed with embarrassment, but he nodded. "Sure, though fair warning, I haven't been consistent with my workouts since Emma was born. That was 8 years ago." "Emma," Zara repeated. "Your daughter." "My entire world," Ryan admitted, lying back on the bench. "She's the reason I'm here at this ungodly hour. Have to stay fit enough to chase after her, you know." Something in Zara's expression softened as she positioned herself behind the bench. "That's refreshing to hear. Most people I know are here because they're training for a marathon or trying to look good for Instagram. Trust me, if I had Instagram, it would just be blurry photos of school lunches and the occasional triumphant shot of me folding laundry correctly," Ryan joked, gripping the bar. "Social media fame continues to elude me." As Zara guided him through proper bench press technique, Ryan found himself oddly comfortable in her presence. There was something grounding about her, despite her obvious polish and poise. She didn't make him feel judged for his worn gym clothes or his lack of knowledge. "So, what brings you to the gym at 6 a.m. on a Tuesday?" Ryan asked between sets. "You don't strike me as someone who struggles to maintain a routine." Zara handed him his water bottle. "Early meetings. This is the only time I can fit in a workout." "Ah, the corporate life," Ryan nodded. "I remember those days. Now I'm a mechanic at Turner's Auto, my uncle's shop. Hours are long, but at least I can pick Emma up from school most days." "You gave up a corporate career," Ryan shrugged. "When my wife left 4 years ago, something had to give. Couldn't keep traveling for work with a 4-year-old at home. My uncle needed help, and I needed flexibility." He didn't add that the divorce had left him with mountains of debt, or that he'd been fighting to keep his small apartment in a decent school district for Emma's sake. Some things weren't first conversation material, even with strangers who had kind eyes. "That's admirable," Zara said with a sincerity that caught him off guard. "Putting your daughter first." "Not admirable, just necessary," Ryan replied. He glanced at the clock on the wall inside. "And speaking of necessary, I should probably wrap this up. Need to get Emma to school by 7:30, of course." Was it his imagination, or did Zara look disappointed? She hesitated, then added, "I'm here most Tuesdays and Thursdays, same time, in case you want more advice." Ryan smiled, surprised by the invitation. I clearly need all the advice I can get. See you Thursday then. Thursday, she confirmed with a nod. As Ryan hurried home to wake Emma and start their morning routine, he found himself wondering about the elegant woman at the gym. There had been something in her eyes, a loneliness, perhaps, that resonated with him. Or maybe he was just projecting. Either way, the prospect of seeing her again made Thursday's workout seem much more appealing. The apartment was quiet when Ryan returned, Emma still asleep in her small bedroom decorated with dance posters and science project ribbons. He showered quickly and started breakfast simple: scrambled eggs and toast, but with the banana slices arranged in a smiley face the way Emma liked. Dad. Emma's sleepy voice called from the hallway. Is it morning already? Afraid so, monkey, Ryan replied, using his longtime nickname for her. But I made smiley eggs and we're not running late. Yet. Emma shuffled into the kitchen in her mismatched pajamas, curly brown hair a wild tangle around her face. At 8, she was a perfect blend of Ryan's practical nature and her mother's artistic temperament. She had inherited Ryan's deep brown eyes and his stubborn determination. I dreamed I was doing my science presentation and then my teeth fell out, she announced, climbing onto a kitchen stool. What does that mean? It means you're nervous about your presentation on Friday, Ryan said, sliding her plate in front of her, which is totally normal. But you're going to do great. How do you know? Because I've seen you practice it 6 times and because you're the smartest kid in 3rd grade. Emma rolled her eyes but smiled. Dad, you have to say that because you're my dad. No, I have to love you because I'm your dad. The smart thing is just objective fact, Ryan countered, pouring her a glass of orange juice. Now eat up. We need to get moving. The morning routine unfolded with practiced efficiency. Ryan packed Emma's lunch while she dressed and brushed her teeth. He checked her homework folder while she tied her shoes. By 7:15, they were in his aging Honda Civic, navigating through morning traffic. Dad, can we get pizza tonight? Emma asked, fiddling with her seatbelt. Jessica said her mom lets her have pizza every Tuesday. Jessica's mom doesn't have to fix cars all day to pay for that pizza, Ryan replied gently. We have chicken and rice at home. But, he added, seeing her disappointed expression, maybe we can make pizza this weekend. Homemade, with the dough and everything. With the dough and everything, Ryan confirmed, reaching over to ruffle her hair. Maybe invite Jessica over too. Emma's face lit up. Yes, she's never had homemade pizza before. Her mom just orders it. Ryan smiled, savoring the small victory. He couldn't give Emma everything her friends had, but he could give her these moments, these small traditions that were uniquely theirs. The homemade pizzas, the Sunday morning pancakes, the impromptu living room dance parties. After dropping Emma at school, Ryan headed to Turner's Auto, the family garage his uncle had built 30 years ago. The work was physically demanding, but straightforward, a welcome contrast to his previous job in project management, where office politics and constant travel had slowly eroded his marriage. The day passed in a blur of oil changes, brake repairs, and a particularly challenging transmission issue on a 2007 Toyota. By closing time, Ryan's back ached and his hands were stained with grease that no amount of scrubbing seemed to remove. He picked up Emma from her after-school program, helped with homework, made dinner, and supervised bath time. By 9 p.m., with Emma finally asleep, he collapsed onto the couch, too exhausted to even turn on the television. His thoughts drifted to Zara, the woman from the gym. There had been something about her, a quiet confidence that wasn't showy or intimidating. He wondered what kind of work she did, what her life was like. Probably nothing like his hectic, paycheck-to-paycheck existence. Thursday morning arrived with pouring rain and a text from his uncle, water damage in the garage, all hands needed early. Ryan groaned, knowing his gym plan was shot. He'd have to reschedule his second meeting with the intriguing Zara, though meeting was probably too formal a word for what had been a simple, friendly conversation between strangers. He woke Emma, explained they needed to leave early, and promised a special breakfast sandwich from the drive-through to make up for the rushed morning. As they hurried to the car under a shared umbrella, Emma's backpack protected inside Ryan's jacket, He tried to ignore the pang of disappointment about missing his gym session. The garage was a mess when they arrived. Ryan settled Emma in the small office with her breakfast and a tablet loaded with educational games, then joined his uncle and cousins in tackling the water that had leaked through the aging roof. "Sorry about this, Ryan," his uncle Mitch said, passing him a mop. "I know you had plans this morning." "It's fine," Ryan assured him. "Family first, right? That's what you always taught us." Mitch clasped his shoulder appreciatively. "Speaking of family, you're still bringing Emma to the barbecue on Sunday. Wouldn't miss it. She's been talking about playing with her cousins all week." The morning passed in a flurry of activity. By the time the garage was dried out and the first customers started arriving, Ryan had almost forgotten about his missed gym appointment. Almost. During his lunch break, he sent Emma to the sandwich shop next door with his cousin Michael, then pulled out his phone. He hesitated, then typed a quick message to the gym's general inquiry line. "Could you please pass a message to a member named Zara who works out Tuesday and Thursday mornings? This is Ryan Turner. Had to miss today because of an emergency at work. Just didn't want to seem like I stood her up for our training advice. Thanks." He hit send before he could overthink it, then put his phone away, expecting nothing to come of the message. The gym probably wouldn't even pass it along. The afternoon brought a steady stream of customers, keeping Ryan too busy to check his phone until closing time. When he finally did, he was surprised to find a notification from an unknown number. "Ryan, this is Zara from the gym. Hope everything's okay with your emergency. The gym gave me your message. I missed our session, too early, meeting ran long. Maybe next Tuesday. P.S. I hope you don't mind that I asked for your number. I can give advice on proper form via text if you're desperate." Ryan found himself smiling as he read the message. There was something playful in her tone that he hadn't expected. He typed back, "Emergency was just water damage at my uncle's garage. All fixed now. Tuesday works. Though I might need emergency form advice before then planning to attempt push-ups at home, and my daughter will definitely mock me if I do them wrong." Her reply came quickly. "Happy to prevent father-daughter mockery. Proper push-up form is serious business." What followed was a surprisingly enjoyable exchange about fitness, parenting, and the challenges of balancing work and personal life. Zara never mentioned her executive position, and Ryan found her easy to talk to, intelligent without being condescending, funny without trying too hard. By Sunday evening, they had exchanged dozens of messages, and Ryan had learned that Zara lived alone in an apartment downtown, enjoyed hiking on weekends, and had a weakness for old black and white movies. He'd shared stories about Emma's dance recitals, his struggles with third-grade math homework, and his dream of someday opening his own specialized restoration garage for classic cars. What he didn't know was that Zara was sitting in her sleek, minimalist apartment, smiling at her phone in a way that had her assistant of 7 years, Melissa, raising eyebrows during their Sunday evening prep meeting for the coming week. "You seem distracted," Melissa observed, shuffling through the presentation materials for Monday's board meeting. "That's not like you." "Just tired," Zara replied, setting her phone aside. "Let's go over the quarterly projections again," but Melissa wasn't so easily deterred. "You've been smiling at your phone all weekend. The last time I saw you this interested in a message, it was when we got the Series C funding confirmation." Zara hesitated, then sighed. "I met someone, at the gym of all places." "The gym?" Melissa's surprise was evident. "I thought you went there specifically because it's not a social scene." "I did. He's different though. He's a single dad, works as a mechanic." Zara paused, realizing how strange that must sound to someone who knew her typically rigorous criteria for dating prospects. In the past, she'd only considered men in similar professional positions: executives, entrepreneurs, the occasional professor or doctor, men who understood her demanding schedule and ambitious nature. "A mechanic," Melissa repeated neutrally. "He's funny," Zara found herself explaining. "And genuine. Do you know how rare that is in my circles? He has no idea who I am in the business world and he couldn't care less. He just talks to me like a normal person." Melissa's expression softened. "That actually sounds nice. When are you seeing him again?" "Tuesday morning at the gym." It's not a date or anything. We just talked briefly last week and then we've been texting. Well, Melissa said, gathering her papers, I'm intrigued, but now we really should review these projections before tomorrow. Zara nodded, turning her attention back to work. But her thoughts kept drifting to Ryan's latest message, a photo of a disastrous attempt at homemade pizza with the caption, Emma says my culinary career is not looking promising. I think she's being generous. Tuesday morning arrived with clear skies and unusually light traffic. Ryan dropped Emma at her before school chess club and made it to the gym by 5:50 a.m., 10 minutes earlier than planned. He'd chosen his least ratty t-shirt and had even splurged on a new pair of athletic shorts after realizing his old ones were embarrassingly worn. He spotted Zara immediately. She was on a treadmill, her dark hair pulled back in a ponytail, wearing simple black leggings and a gray top that somehow looked more elegant than workout clothes had any right to be. She noticed him and waved, slowing her pace before stepping off the machine. The prodigal gym-goer returns, she said with a smile, grabbing her water bottle. I was beginning to think you'd found another fitness guru and miss out on your professional advice giving. Never, Ryan replied. Though I should warn you, after 4 days of texting, I have higher expectations. You've built yourself up as quite the fitness expert. I never claimed expertise, just that I know more than someone who hasn't worked out consistently since the Obama administration, she teased. Low bar, really. Ryan laughed, feeling the easy rhythm of their text conversations translating naturally to in-person interaction. Fair point. So what's the plan? More bench press humiliation? I thought we might try something different today. How's your core strength? Non-existent, but I'm an optimist. Zara led him through a series of core exercises, correcting his form with gentle touches that left his skin tingling in a way that had nothing to do with physical exertion. They talked as they worked out about Emma's upcoming science fair, about Zara's weekend hike, about a classic car Ryan was helping restore at the garage. So what exactly do you do? Ryan asked as they cooled down. You mentioned meetings, but you've been mysteriously vague about your actual job. A flicker of something hesitation perhaps crossed Zara's face. I work in tech, software development, basically. Basically, Ryan raised an eyebrow. That sounds suspiciously simplified, Zara smiled. It's not very interesting gym conversation. I stare at computers and spreadsheets all day, attend too many meetings, and try to convince other people that my ideas are worth implementing. Sounds pretty important to me, Ryan said. Much more impressive than changing oil and fixing transmissions. I don't know about that. You fix tangible problems. At the end of the day, you can point to something and say, I fixed that, my work is all theoretical until someone else builds it. Ryan checked his watch and sighed. I should probably get going. Emma's morning chess club only buys me an extra 45 minutes. Chess club at 8 years old, she must be bright. Too bright for her own good sometimes, Ryan admitted proudly. She talks me into ice cream for dinner more often than I'd like to admit, Zara laughed. Sounds like she has your negotiation skills. As they gathered their things, Ryan hesitated, then took a breath. I was wondering, would you maybe want to grab coffee sometime, outside the gym, I mean, when we're not sweaty and out of breath? I'd like that, Zara replied, her smile softening. When were you thinking? I'm free Saturday morning. Emma has dance from 9 to 11. Saturday works for me. There's a good place called Mockingbird Coffee near the dance studio, if that's convenient. Ryan nodded, surprised she knew the neighborhood. Perfect, it's a date. I mean, not a date, unless you want it to be, which is fine, but no pressure, he stopped himself, embarrassed. And now I'm rambling like a teenager. It's a date, Zara confirmed, saving him from further awkwardness. A date. They exchanged smiles, and Ryan felt an unfamiliar flutter in his chest, something he hadn't experienced in years. As he hurried to his car, he couldn't help but wonder what someone like Zara, poised, intelligent, clearly successful, saw in him. But for once, he decided not to question his good fortune. What Ryan didn't know was that Zara was having similar thoughts. As she showered in the gym's executive locker room, a perk she rarely mentioned, she found herself wondering what her board members would think if they could see her now, giddy over coffee plans with a mechanic she'd met while spotting him on the bench press. The thought made her smile. For the first time in years, she was pursuing something that had nothing to do with her career trajectory or networking potential. Something that felt real and uncomplicated. Saturday arrived with unexpected nerves for both of them. Ryan dropped Emma at dance class, promising to be back before it ended. "And don't forget we're going to the Science Museum after," Emma reminded him as she adjusted her dance bag. "I haven't forgotten," Ryan assured her. "This is just coffee with a friend. I'll be back in plenty of time." Emma gave him a knowing look that seemed far too mature for her 8 years. "Is your friend pretty?" Ryan felt his cheeks warm. "Yes, she is, but that's not the point. Is it a date? It's coffee," Ryan hedged. "Now go before you're late." Emma skipped off, but not before calling over her shoulder, "Wear your blue shirt. Mom always said it makes your eyes look nice." Ryan shook his head, but he was wearing the blue shirt, his one decent button down that wasn't frayed at the cuffs. Mockingbird Coffee was busy but not crowded when he arrived. He spotted Zara at a corner table, wearing jeans and a simple cream sweater that looked casually elegant in a way his carefully selected outfit did not. Her hair fell in loose waves around her shoulders, and without the context of the gym, Ryan was struck anew by how beautiful she was. "Hi," he said, suddenly feeling awkward as he approached her table. "Sorry if I kept you waiting." "Not at all," Zara replied, gesturing to the chair across from her. "I just got here. Emma get to dance okay? Perfect timing, actually. She informed me I should wear this shirt because it makes my eyes look nice, according to her mother." The moment the words left his mouth, Ryan winced. Mentioning his ex-wife wasn't exactly smooth first-date conversation, but Zara just smiled. "Emma has good taste. The shirt does suit you." The initial awkwardness quickly faded as they fell into easy conversation. Ryan ordered a simple black coffee while Zara chose an oat milk latte. They talked about favorite books. He loved historical fiction. She preferred biographies, childhood memories, his in a small town in Oregon, hers in suburban Connecticut, and dream vacations, Italy for him, New Zealand for her. "Can I ask you something?" Ryan said after a lull in the conversation. "Why are you interested in me? I mean, you're clearly successful, intelligent, probably have your pick of, I don't know, tech entrepreneurs or investment bankers or whatever. And I'm a single dad who fixes cars for a living and can barely figure out proper bench press form." Zara studied him for a moment. "That's exactly why," she finally said. "Do you know how rare it is to meet someone genuine, someone who doesn't have an agenda or a rehearsed personality? In my world, everyone's always performing, trying to impress, network, position themselves. You're just real." Ryan's expression softened. "Well, when you put it that way, I sound downright exotic." "You kind of are," she admitted with a laugh. "Plus, you're kind, you're funny, and you clearly adore your daughter. That's more attractive than any job title or bank account." "Speaking of job titles," Ryan said, "you've been pretty vague about yours. You mentioned tech and meetings, but not much else." Zara hesitated, then set down her coffee cup. "I should probably be honest about that. I'm the CEO of Horizon Innovations." Ryan's eyebrows shot up. "The software company, the one with that virtual reality education platform, among other products, yes. Wow, that's impressive." Ryan looked genuinely surprised but not intimidated. "No wonder you can correct my form with such authority." Zara laughed, relieved by his reaction. "Does it bother you? My position, I mean. Why would it? It's not like you lied about it. You just didn't lead with your resume, which I actually appreciate." He paused, then added with a self-deprecating smile, "Though I might be slightly more self-conscious about my car now. Pretty sure there's a Happy Meal toy permanently wedged under the passenger seat." "I grew up riding in my dad's old pickup truck," Zara said. "Trust me, I don't judge transportation." The conversation flowed easily after that, with neither of them noticing how quickly time passed until Ryan glanced at his watch. "I should probably head back to pick up Emma," he said reluctantly. "Dance class ends in 15 minutes. "Of course," Zara nodded. "This was nice though, really nice." "It was," Ryan agreed. He hesitated, then added, "Emma and I are going to the Science Museum after her class. It's this monthly thing we do, would you? Would you want to join us?" It's not fancy or anything, but they have this new exhibit on space exploration that's supposed to be pretty cool. The invitation clearly surprised Zara. You want me to meet Emma, are you sure? Only if you're comfortable with it, Ryan said quickly. No pressure, I just thought. Well, Emma's my world. If you and I are going to explore whatever this is, she's part of the package. Zara's expression softened. I'd love to meet her, Ryan, if you think she'd be okay with me tagging along. Are you kidding? She's been interrogating me about my gym friend all week. She'll be thrilled, he paused. Fair warning, though she asks a lot of questions and has zero filter, prepare to have your life story extracted in the most direct way possible. I think I can handle an 8-year-old's interrogation, Zara laughed. I face tougher questions from venture capitalists regularly. They walked together to the dance studio, the comfortable silence between them punctuated by occasional brushes of their hands that sent pleasant tingles up Ryan's arm. As they approached the building, he found himself suddenly nervous not about Emma's reaction to Zara, but about Zara's reaction to the reality of his life. It was one thing to hear about his single dad status, another to be immersed in it. Emma burst out of the studio doors with her typical exuberance, dance bags swinging wildly. She spotted Ryan and ran toward him, then skidded to a halt when she noticed Zara. Hi, she said, curiosity evident in her expression. Are you Dad's friend from the gym? I am, Zara confirmed with a warm smile. I'm Zara, you must be Emma. Your dad has told me a lot about you. Emma's eyes narrowed slightly as she assessed Zara, then broke into a bright smile. He talks about you too. He said you're super smart and you help him not hurt himself when he lifts weights. Ryan felt his face grow warm. Emma, it's true, Zara laughed. Your dad needed some help with his technique. Dad says you're coming to the Science Museum with us, Emma continued, adjusting her dance bag. Do you like space? There's a new exhibit about Mars rovers. Dad promised we could try the simulator. I love space, Zara replied sincerely. I wanted to be an astronaut when I was about your age. Emma's eyes widened with newfound respect. Really, what happened? I discovered I get motion sickness very easily, Zara admitted with a rueful smile. Not great for space travel. That's okay. Dad gets sick on the teacup ride at the amusement park. He still tries it with me, though. Ryan shook his head, laughing. Thanks for sharing my weaknesses, monkey. The Science Museum visit was a revelation for both Ryan and Zara. Emma, initially curious and slightly reserved around Zara, quickly warmed up as she discovered Zara could explain the more complex exhibits in terms she could understand. By the time they reached the Mars rover simulation, Emma had claimed Zara's hand, pulling her excitedly from display to display. Ryan watched them together, a warmth spreading through his chest that had nothing to do with the crowded museum. Zara was patient and engaged with Emma, never talking down to her or dismissing her questions. She seemed genuinely interested in Emma's observations, encouraging her curiosity rather than rushing her along. Your daughter is incredible, Zara told Ryan quietly as Emma explored a hands-on-gravity exhibit. She's so bright and curious about everything. She is, Ryan agreed proudly. Sometimes I worry I can't give her enough opportunities, enough exposure to the world. Places like this help. Zara's expression grew thoughtful. You know, intelligence like hers finds a way. My parents weren't wealthy. My dad was a plumber. Mom was a receptionist. They couldn't afford fancy enrichment programs, but they encouraged my curiosity. Libraries, museums when possible, conversations about everything. That's what made the difference. You turned out pretty well, Ryan observed with a smile. CEO and almost astronaut. Dad, Zara, come see this. Emma called from across the exhibit, waving enthusiastically. As they moved to join her, Ryan's hand found Zara's, their fingers intertwining naturally. The simple contact sent a pleasant warmth through him, a feeling of rightness he hadn't experienced in years. By the time they left the museum, the three of them had fallen into an easy rhythm together. Emma chattered happily about her favorite exhibits as they walked to the parking lot, occasionally directing questions to Zara, who answered each one thoughtfully. Are you having dinner with us? Emma asked as they reached Ryan's car. Dad makes really good spaghetti on Saturdays. Ryan gave Zara an apologetic look. No pressure. I'm sure you have other plans. Actually, I don't, Zara replied. And spaghetti sounds perfect if the invitation is genuine. It is, Ryan assured her. Though I should warn you my apartment is nothing like what you're probably used to. Dad, that's rude, Emma interjected. You always tell me not to make assumptions about people. Zara laughed. Your dad is right to warn me, Emma, but I promise I don't make judgments based on where people live. The drive to Ryan's apartment was filled with Emma's continued observations about the museum exhibits, interspersed with questions for Zara about her job. Do you have to be the boss of a lot of people? Her apartment, do you have any pets? And her family, do you have kids? Or nieces and nephews? Ryan's apartment was indeed modest, a two-bedroom unit in an older building, furnished with a mix of hand-me-downs and budget-friendly items. But it was clean and homey, with Emma's artwork decorating the refrigerator and walls, shelves filled with books, and a small balcony housing several thriving plants. This is lovely, Zara said sincerely as Ryan gave her a quick tour. And to his surprise, she seemed genuinely comfortable, kicking off her shoes and offering to help with dinner preparation while Emma changed out of her dance clothes. As they worked side by side in the small kitchen, Ryan preparing the sauce, while Zara chopped vegetables for a salad, there was an easy domesticity that felt both novel and somehow familiar. They moved around each other comfortably, their conversation flowing from topic to topic without effort. You're good with her, Ryan observed as Emma's laughter drifted in from her bedroom, where she was apparently rearranging her stuffed animal collection. Some people don't know how to talk to kids, but you treat her like a person. Because she is one, Zara replied simply. A smaller person with less life experience, but still a complete human with thoughts and feelings. I always hated when adults talked down to me as a child, Ryan nodded. Same, I promised myself I wouldn't do that with Emma. It shows she's confident and articulate. That comes from being heard and respected. The dinner was simple but delicious, with Emma dominating the conversation, eager to impress Zara with stories from school and dance class. Ryan watched the interaction with a growing sense of contentment. There was no awkwardness, no forced enthusiasm from Zara, just genuine engagement with his daughter. After dinner, Emma insisted on showing Zara her science fair project, a surprisingly sophisticated model of the solar system that moved with the help of a small motor Ryan had helped her install. Dad did the wiring, Emma explained, but I did all the research about the distances and sizes. It's to scale, except the sun would have to be way bigger. This is impressive, Zara said, examining the project. When I was your age, my science project was growing beans in different soils. This is engineering, Emma beamed at the praise. Maybe someday I'll work at a company like yours and make cool technology. I wouldn't be surprised, Zara replied. You certainly have the curiosity for it. Later, after Emma had reluctantly gone to bed, extracting a promise from Zara to visit again soon, Ryan and Zara sat on the small balcony with glasses of wine. The night air was cool but pleasant, the city lights creating a backdrop of twinkling stars below the actual stars above. Thank you for today, Ryan said quietly, for the coffee, the museum dinner, for being so good with Emma. I should be thanking you, Zara replied. This has been the most enjoyable Saturday I've had in, I can't remember how long, definitely since before I became CEO. Is it difficult? Being in charge of so much, Zara considered the question. Yes and no. I love the work, the problem solving, the innovation, but the responsibility can be isolating. Everyone wants something from the CEO, you know, access, approval, attention. It's rare to just be a person. Like at the gym, Ryan observed, when you were just a kind stranger giving advice. Exactly. She turned to face him more directly. That's what drew me to you, Ryan. You treated me like a person, not a position or a potential connection. You made me laugh. Do you know how rare genuine laughter is in my world? Ryan moved his hand to cover hers. For what it's worth, I'm glad you didn't tell me you were a CEO right away. I probably would have been too intimidated to make my terrible gym jokes. And that would have been a tragedy, Zara smiled. Your terrible jokes are one of your best features. There are others. A few, she admitted, her gaze dropping briefly to his lips. Ryan hesitated only a moment before leaning forward, closing the distance between them. The kiss was gentle at first, a tentative exploration that quickly deepened as Zara responded, her hand moving to the back of his neck to draw him closer. When they finally separated, both slightly breathless, Ryan kept his forehead pressed against hers. "I should probably warn you," he murmured. "I come with a lot of complications. Single dad, tight budget, unpredictable schedule. And I come with 70-hour work weeks, board meetings, and business trips," Zara countered softly, "if we're listing potential obstacles." "So we're both complicated," Ryan concluded. "But this," he gestured between them, "feels pretty simple." "It does," Zara agreed, "surprisingly so." 6 months later, Ryan stood in Zara's spacious kitchen, preparing Sunday breakfast while Emma and Zara huddled over a laptop at the dining table, working on Emma's coding project. The transition from gym acquaintances to dating to spending weekends together had been remarkably smooth, with Zara fitting into their lives as if she'd always belonged there. There had been adjustments, of course. Ryan had needed to overcome his initial discomfort with the disparity in their financial situations. Zara had needed to learn to balance her demanding work schedule with the rhythms of family life. But the foundation they'd built, mutual respect, honest communication, genuine enjoyment of each other's company, had proven strong enough to weather the adjustments. "Dad," Emma called from the table. "Zara showed me how to make the animation work. Come see." Ryan moved to stand behind them, resting one hand on Zara's shoulder as he leaned in to watch Emma's code produce a simple but effective animation on the screen. "That's amazing, monkey. When did you get so smart?" "I was born smart," Emma replied matter-of-factly. "Zara's just helping me use it better." Zara laughed, reaching up to squeeze Ryan's hand on her shoulder. The gesture was casual, comfortable, one of many small touches they now exchanged without thought. "Your dad's right, though. You picked this up incredibly quickly." "Can we show Uncle Mitch at the barbecue today?" Emma asked, saving her project. "He still thinks computers are magic." "Definitely," Ryan agreed. "Go get ready, okay? We need to leave in 30 minutes. As Emma darted off to her room, she now had clothes and personal items in both Ryan's apartment and Zara's larger condo. Ryan bent to kiss the top of Zara's head. "Thank you for doing this with her," he said. "And for coming to the family barbecue. I know Sunday is usually your catch-up day for work." Zara turned in her chair to face him. "I've been rethinking my work schedule lately, delegating more, setting better boundaries." "Because of us?" Ryan asked, a note of concern in his voice. He'd always been careful not to make demands on her time, understanding the pressures of her position. "Because of what you've shown me," Zara corrected. "That success isn't just about work achievements, it's about connections, joy, being present." She paused. "My board actually commented last week that I seem more focused and effective lately. I think it's because I'm happier." Ryan smiled, pulling her up from the chair to wrap his arms around her waist. "Is that your way of saying we're good for you, Miss CEO? You and Emma are the best things that have happened to me," Zara confirmed, her arms circling his neck. Who would have thought it would start with a struggling dad making terrible jokes at the gym? "Hey, those jokes worked," Ryan protested with mock indignation. "You fell for my charm, remember?" "I did," Zara agreed softly. "Completely and utterly." Their kiss was interrupted by Emma's return, now dressed for the family barbecue. "Gross," she announced, though her wide smile belied her words. "Are you guys going to do that all day? Only when you're not looking," Ryan teased, keeping one arm around Zara's waist. As they gathered their things and headed out for the family gathering, Ryan reflected on how much had changed in 6 months. His life was still busy, still full of responsibilities, but no longer felt like a struggle. With Zara by his side, her intelligence, her kindness, her practical support, he'd found a partner in every sense of the word. And Zara, who had once measured success in quarterly reports and market share, had discovered that true fulfillment came in different forms. In Emma's excited calls to show her a new discovery, in lazy Sunday mornings with Ryan, in the simple joy of being loved for herself rather than for what she could provide. Their beginning may have been unexpected, a chance meeting, a joke, A moment of kindness, but their story was unfolding exactly as it should, one day, one laugh, one shared moment at a time.